lovely ones, let's talk energy again. This is a really important idea for us to hold because there is a key inside of this little idea that will give us the opportunity to move away from our embedded codes of pain and suffering and hardship, those embedded codes that our human species created so that we could survive. So let's just think about how long we have been trying as a species just to survive. It's been hundreds and thousands of years of turmoil and hardship and struggle to survive, to get to this point where we can say, well, we're still here. So we are at that point now. We are here and we have created an amazing amount of things in this life. But we've also destroyed an amazing amount in this time of being, in this time of growing up and becoming conscious and aware. And we're just at that beginning and that little awakening point. And because we're only just at that beginning, it's a little bit like a child that's learning to walk. And that child picks itself up and it starts to take the first few steps, and then it wobbles a little bit and then it falls down. Then it picks itself up and then it starts to move again. It starts to wobble and falls down. So we're a little bit like that right now. We're trying to pick ourselves up and we're trying to take some steps with higher integrity into a more accountable, more clear thinking, compassionate race, a species that is worthy of being here. But we're not managing very well. We keep falling down. And that is very discouraging on an energy system. The mind and the body, we start to feel depressed and overwhelmed. There's just too much misery, too much heartache, and what possible good could I bring in, just me on my own? So these energies are very low and very, very depleting to our resource. What are we going to do to move beyond that and to train ourselves to come into a different awareness of who we truly are? And this is the gift that we can start to bring towards ourselves. If we can accept that we have been imprinted and encoded with the idea that we must struggle, that life is hard, and that we must survive at every and any cost. If we can understand that that is the mechanism that has brought us to this point, and not shame and blame ourselves, not send these messages of self-loathing and hate, if we can just let that all go and say, but it was what we needed to get us to this point. And if we can own that and honor those who came before us, who struggled enormously, made dreadful choices in very difficult times, when really there seemed to be no choice at all, in fact. So let's imagine that this code of survival and suffering and hardship and struggle is part of our mechanism that is running as a default system, a wiring in our system that is helping us to always look out and take care and be vigilant so that we might survive. And how do we do that? How did we do this? We had to rely on our 5 senses of this human form. This human body can only interpret what it is in relation to others. So it is our connecting and our colliding with others that gives us a reflection of who we are and how we are. And that gives us the opportunity to say, who am I and what do I really want? And to make these choices that are so important for us to make, to choose, and then thereby activating our free will, this freedom to choose. Because that's the gift that we still have in us. It's just wonderful. We haven't lost that yet. So let's keep activating this gift to choose, and let's begin to think about, how are we choosing now? Our system has been wired through the 5 senses to be hyper-vigilant towards anything, listening coming in, sounds coming in, visions, thoughts, perceptions, ideas, senses, taste, touch, smell. Everything can send us instantly into a hyper-alert state, exhausting our adrenal systems, running our limbic system, and taking us on a runaway train experience. That was the mechanism, and that's what we needed. The system now has got to rewire itself. We cannot rely on someone else to come and fix us and make us better and think better. We've got to do it for ourselves. Each and every single one of us has got to make that decision. Do I want to see myself as something more? Do I want to step into my highest potential, and what might that be? Every single one of us has got to make that decision to get up and to stand up and to begin to walk again and take a new walk, a walk in courage. That decision alone is not going to help us, because we know that just like the child and those wobbly little feet, we're going to need a lot of practice. So what practice could we put in place so that we can be supporting ourselves as we move beyond this vigilant, hyper-alert status, the default setting of survival, and into a different frequency, into a different mindset and perception, where we can understand ourselves as beings who are considerate, compassionate, kind, authentic, loving, gracious, and so we go on. How will we do that? What could the practice be that we could consciously choose and consciously practice so that we become more and more adept at reprogramming, retuning the system to become more clear? This is the download that I received for that. So here we have 5 senses, and these 5 senses up to now have been watching out through these eyes to see, oh my gosh, what's going to eat me? What's going to get me? And we're constantly looking out through our eyes to see and look for horror and despair and terror. We search for it. If you don't believe that, just look at the news. The news goes out seeking for ways to make us feel terrified, and then broadcasts it to us and pulls all these little bits of information in towards us and tells us that that's the way it actually is. Well, there might be little pockets of that, but that's not the way it is. But it accumulates all these little bits of random data, and it presents it as the full truth and the complete picture. It's not. And the same thing is happening with our own eyesight. We're looking out through a program that says, watch out, be careful, pay attention, see what you can, and run like crazy. That program has got to be undone. Then we start to listen with our ears, and we start to hear all the sounds around us, and we're listening out for the big bangs, the calamities, the crashes, the collisions. We're listening out for those injustices, those unkind words. We're listening for the non-truths all the time, because that's how we're going to keep ourselves safe in the program that runs on survival. And then we think about taste and touch and smell. And everything that is taste, touch, smell related is also going to create a sense of panic in us. For many who've experienced horrific felt fires or horrific fires in their towns and in their countries, you will know that just the smell of a felt fire, the smell of a fire raging near you, might activate this inside your system, and your whole system starts going into a limbic terror response, and you don't know why you're feeling so anxious until your awareness goes, oh yeah, because I can smell there is a fire somewhere, and yes, I know that I was very close to a fire at some point, and that was what I was feeling, and links the two together. So all our senses have been programmed to do this: terror alert, hyper alert. We do a new program now. We choose to re-see, re-hear, re-believe, rethink, reprogram this being. And every moment we can do this, we will be slowly tweaking the system, slowly creating something else, something else. So the way to start doing this is when you wake up in the morning. First thing as you wake up in the morning, before you even open your eyes, just lie in your bed and allow yourself to feel the energy around you without engaging in your sense of vision. And then start to listen to what it is that you can hear around you. And as you're tuning into the sounds around you, notice where your mind takes you. If there is someone on a very loud scrambler motorbike, raging up and down the road just near you, which happens near me, my attention could instantly go to that. Total aggravation. Here is someone who's inconsiderate, making a noise when everyone else is sleeping and we're not impressed. I could instantly go there, and I do, believe me. Or I could hear again and hear for the bird calls, hear for the sound of the wind in the trees and the leaves rustling. If I listen very carefully, I can even hear the ocean, which is kind of near me. What else can I hear that actually pleases my senses and delights my being? And if I lie there and practice just for a few moments every day to retune, reprogram just through one of my senses, I've started to make that shift from here to there. I'm beginning to take that walk. During the day I'm going to stumble, I'm going to fall down, and I'm probably not going to do so well. And then I'm going to take a moment, stop, stand up, and reconsider my next step, and then reconsider it and choose something different, and choose to pay attention, and choose to hear and see and think and feel through a different program. Then I can move into the world with my eyesight, and I can start to look at what it is that delights my life. Look at the colors, look at the flowers, look at the clouds, look at the sky. Look at the faces of those you love who share your life. Look at your hands, these incredible tools that can do so much. Look with a different vision and tune in your eyesight, your vision, to delight. That's what we want to do. We ask ourselves, what delights my vision? What delights my sense of hearing, sense of taste, smell, and touch? What delights this? And if I go on a little journey with myself every day, reminding myself that I am seeking that which delights, filled with the divine light, delight. And imagine we do that enough until this entire mechanism starts to automatically do it, and we can switch this default automatic program that we have been running to a whole new program, a program that starts to seek something else. And you will notice that your heart begins to seek too. Your heart's desire switches on, and you will begin to seek with this beautiful heart of yours. Your heart will call you towards that which delights. Pay attention to that and honor it and allow it and make way towards that, because that is you finding your way to your stable footing, where you can walk confidently with strength and courage and beauty in this beautiful walk of life. Let us change the program from the one to the other, and let us take different steps now, because it's time for us to be a different being, a whole new being, and a whole new life journey with a different perspective, a different vision, and a whole new way of showing up with each other. I'm wishing you so much love as you practice this. Make it your practice and hold it in your heart, because this is one of the keys that's going to take us through. So much love to you, my darlings. Namaste. Thank you for you.